Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen weekly roundup for the week ending the 5th of July. Where are we with Star Citizen Alpha 3.10? What's happened this week? We have highlights of the monthly reports, the 3.9 Postmortem, and the Star Citizen Live that looked at further ship updates coming to 3.10 and beyond. Star Citizen Alpha 3.10.0 is still with the Evocati. It has yet to go to First Wave PTU. I was expecting it to be to First Wave PTU a long time ago. This is for a mixture of reasons that it's still in Evocati, a long weekend for the American studios due to the 4th of July, and because there are just some blockers that they need to clear before going to the first wave of PTU. It does appear that they're being a bit more thorough with some of the bugs than before, trying to push this patch out when it's ready, I suppose. Obviously, 3.9's branch had a lot of problems when it came to accessibility and just sort of like 30k errors and things like that. A lot of that hopefully will be addressed with 3.10. We'll have to wait and see if it's been worth the wait. The newsletter sneak peek this week appears to have been of an example of some paint and skin customization potentially coming in 3.10 that you can purchase in stores rather than just on the website or for real money. Monthly report stuff. So for the Persistent Universe, we saw more progress on the Pyro system with the 3rd and 4th planets now getting work, and the start of the modelling of the Pyro Crab, a terrifying apex predator there. The Mercury Star Runner and Hercules Starlifter are making good progress for this year, and there are two more yet unannounced ships that they've been working on. On the Squadron 42 side of things, the Vandal Melee sort of attacks and animations were getting worked on, and they're sort of working towards finishing the Vandal characters. They're also then going to be focusing on Xi'an characters and the Xi'an in earnest, which is interesting because that suggests that they're going to feature at least to some degree in Squadron 42, and if we have Xi'an characters running around in Squadron 42, that means they're probably not too far off of running around in the Persistent Universe as well. We also saw a concept of a big death laser from a Vandal Kingship firing at an Idris. This is actually one of the best pieces of art I've actually seen for Star Citizen, sort of like for what I envision terrifying ship combat to be against capital ships when unprepared to be like. There was loads of work done on AI across various different aspects of the game, from flight crews to bridge crews to just getting the AI more polished for FPS fights and that sort of stuff. There was a Flight Week and 3.9 branch post-mortem, which gave us some interesting information. I'll highlight the main bits. Fleet Week and that Free Fly saw more unique Star Citizen players over that 12-day period than they've ever had previously combined. The major problems seen during the 3.9 branch are going to be more fully addressed in the Q4 2020 patch, with some major work on servers and networking updates. So they sort of acknowledged that there was a lot of success with Fleet Week and 3.9, but obviously terrible issues when it came to accessibility and crashes and stability and that sort of stuff. A lot of it down to the fact they were just unprepared and overwhelmed by the amount of players playing. Prisons will see a lot more gameplay. In 3.10, we will have missions to fix vending and oxygen machines for inmates. The vending kiosks should be functioning as intended in 3.11, and prison escapes should have a lot more to think about and more mechanics to them. Later, there's going to be more missions associated with prisons gameplay and opportunities there as well, but they're a mixture of some interesting gameplay for people that want to do missions associated with them, but also their punishments. They're a way to get people not doing certain sort of gameplay behaviors regularly. They add risk to certain other gameplay behavior. It's an interesting one. It takes people out of the game so that they can't repeatedly pad ram and things like that, for example. The RSI subscribership of the month for July is the Mantis, the Quantum Enforcement ship. I think that will be quite interesting to see people use that in 3.10. Star Citizen Live this week was with the Vehicle Experience team and looked at targets, turrets, takeoffs, sort of like the new flight model, some of the new targeting and combat stuff, sort of like further to that. They've been looking at it for the last couple of weeks now. There's obviously a huge change in 3.10, and one of the most important, if not the most important part of Star Citizen for its core to get right. Ships won't be able to indefinitely maintain hover while in atmosphere in the future. It will generate a lot of heat, and you'll overheat if you use that for prolonged periods or even, medium periods of time. VTOL thrusters will be more effective for atmospheric hovering, just more suited for it. In the future, environmental temperature will also affect ship and component heating and cooling, thruster heating and cooling, all that sort of jazz. Wind will majorly affect ship flight as well. You'll be able to hear and feel it very much so, that wind. Cargo will add to your ship's weight in the future and will affect flight performance, preventing you from getting out of an atmosphere potentially. So watch what you're carrying. Aerodynamics are important too. In 3.10, each ship is different. Ships can glide to an extent, though you're still going to need your thrusters to change direction, very much so in 3.10. In the future, you're going to be able to glide much more appropriately, and you'll be able to disable your thrusters to completely glide if you want to. In the future again, missiles will also be affected by atmospheric conditions. If you're damaged, or have your landing gear down, or your doors open, this is going to affect your atmospheric flight in the future. It's still the plan to be able to survive while ejecting, while planetside. So there will be something for that later. Larger ships will feel a lot more heavy in 3.10 with the addition of jerk, though all ships will be affected by jerk. Basically, thrusters take more time to respond fully to inputs, so they sort of like have to accelerate to get you the input that you want effectively. And heavier ships, or weightier ships, more mass ships, they're going to feel slower and more weighty compared to the lighter ships. They will be updating G-Force and Blackout models in the future. The new fixed weapon assist will help projectiles hit their mark. It's not an extreme auto-aim, nor does it bend projectiles around corners or anything. It sort of like just nudges them slightly to help hit their mark. It is a very, very, very light assist for fixed weapons. Obviously, that will mean you hit a lot more rather than just miss, if you see what I mean, is the idea there. It's a way of helping balance turrets and fixed weapons with the auto gimbals and gimbals in general. There are new ship HUDs in 3.10, and they're building more now. In the future again, ship manufacturers will have their own types of HUD. HUDs are going to be much more easily seen on contrasted backgrounds in 3.10 as well. Across the ship's multi-crew, pilots and turret gunners, they're going to be able to share targets, so you can actually go, let's all shoot that one together, and things like that. So that's going to be much better for coordination. We're going to see an altimeter on the HUDs in the future as well. We're going to see sub-component targeting in the future, but we will need physicalized components first. There are various quality of life updates and improvements with more functional armor. There's hardpoint size changes on some ships, and they've even moved some of the hardpoints slightly onto some ships, so they're in better places. So if you like lose a wing or a piece of your ship, it doesn't necessarily take the hardpoint with it. It's just slightly more intelligently designed in some of the ships now. Hazard lights for night time flying will be added in the future too. And that's sort of it for a quick recap this week. I've said in the future or future a lot this episode. But what do you think? Will 3.10 be in a better state with some extra time in its Eva Carty phase? Or is it not any form of indicator how good the patch is going to be? Should it have gone to first wave PTU to potentially have more eyes looking at it? Are you excited for the flight and combat model changes? What are you looking forward to for the rest of 2020 when it comes to Star Citizen? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month there's a ship giveaway. For the month of July, we have a Banu Merchantman and Star Citizen game package to give away. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during July 2020. Details to that down below in the links. I'm also a shill for NordVPN. If you're looking for a VPN, then Nord should be considered. It's cheap and fast and helps keep you secure, anonymous, and give you greater access to websites and informations. Use the links below if you're thinking about getting a VPN. Also, a special thank you to Azatec for supporting my content. Find out more down below because they sent me a Alienware Aurora A10, but there's more to it than that, and you can see all the details of my spec down below and all that sort of jazz. If you'd like to further support my channel or content, then please consider becoming a YouTube member, a Patreon, or even donating. But sharing, commenting, subscribing, and liking, all of that really does help too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.